Welcome to the second one. Hopefully this will be a bit more interesting. Who knows? Here's a question though. Do you worry before you place the bet or after? So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by do you worry before you place the bet or after? Well, something I've read, actually listened to, because I listen to audiobooks more than read books, is a book called Psycho Cybernetics, and I'll put a link to it in the description. And it's a hugely, I'm going to say, powerful book. It's quite sort of deep into the sort of psyche of how the mind works and that kind of thing. But one thing it kind of, well, to be honest, there's many things that I've kind of gleaned from this book, but one thing that stood out to me on yesterday, was the fact it said how important it is to worry about the outcome before you place your bet rather than when the wheel starts spinning, in the case of roulette, or in the case of when the horses start running, whatever, obviously in a betting situation. And that kind of hit me not quite hard, but that kind of was an interesting point. I thought, well, how often, and I'm speaking for myself, have I done something or making a decision to do something and then kind of worried about the outcome? I hope it goes okay. And this could be anything from exams to literally making a decision of painting the wall, and then worry about is it going to look okay, things like that. And once you've made the decision, the decision's made, and then the outcome is kind of fixed, as in you can't alter that outcome, you can't change the outcome. Obviously in the case of gambling it may not be fixed, but you can't have any influence over the outcome once you've made a decision of what you're going to go. So if, say in the case of, say, roulette, and you're betting on black or red, if you bet on black, you make your decision, then they spin the wheel. Anything you think then, whether it's worry, excitement, anything, is not going to change the outcome. So, and this is quite, when you think about this is quite sort of huge. It's quite a huge factor, because it's the fact that it's so easy, and particularly things like exams. We do exams, and we do them, and I've done them, I'm sure everyone's done them, and then once you've done it and you've left the exam hall, you then kind of worry about the result. You worry about, am I going to get the grades I need, or am I going to get the pass mark, or have I done well or not done well, whatever it may be. And bear in mind, you can't change, at that point you can't change it. And where this sort of, I suppose, hit me quite hard was the fact that often we go through life and make decisions. I've made decisions, we all have, but it gets to the point where I've made decisions, and then afterwards, or after the fact, I'm sort of worried or concerned about the result or the outcome of that decision, where it makes more sense to worry about what the outcome could be and base your decision on that, and then done. Because once you've made the decision and the action is taken place, do the exam or paint the wall or whatever, you can't change it. And I now, once I sort of heard this, it made me start thinking. I had to sort of stop. I was listening in the car, and I had to stop the car and make a few notes. I suddenly thought, this is very interesting, because so often I've made a decision and then perhaps worried about the outcome or how that decision will be sort of received by other people. But what I should have done, and what I'm aware of now, I didn't think about how it would be received previously or prior to making the decision. It was more than, I'm going to make a decision, do that, and then afterwards go, is that the right thing to do? Or is that and that's ridiculous when you think about it in hindsight, because it makes more sense to put more, not so much worry, perhaps worry is the wrong word, but more thought, more concern, more strategy, if you like, into that decision and what the possible outcomes could be, and whether or not one is better than the other, before you make the decision, or before I've made the decision, because then at least then you're more in alignment, rather than just going, I'm going to pick that decision randomly based on no previous thought or planning, and then hope it's the best outcome. And so this sort of hit me quite hard, because I've done this many times, where I've sort of said made the decision based on what maybe I thought, or what was maybe sort of to be honest, a half-assed thought, and then afterwards, oh, is that the right decision? It's like, oh, and maybe it was by luck, or maybe it wasn't. But if I'd have thought more before making a decision, I'd have more confidence on the outcome, at least. And this comes down to when I used to also be a trader, and I used to, and just trading in general, whereas you sort of, the idea is you don't just go, oh, I think the price might go up, so therefore I'll buy, or it might go down, therefore I'll sell. It's not that, the idea is you do some analysis on what could influence the price and base your trading decision on the analysis. And unfortunately, in that kind of role, I've done that's fine, but in kind of real life, I sort of haven't. I've sort of based it on perhaps a very thin amount of information, and then made a decision, then afterwards worried about it. So it's the same thing of going, like, okay, I'm not a gambling person, so say horse racing, the idea is you look at the form of the horses and the conditions of the turf, ground, mud, grass, whatever, and then the idea is, well, this horse is good in these conditions, and he's got these odds, therefore the chances are he's likely to win, or whatever. So that's the analysis, and then you make the decision, you bet on that horse, and then it's done. And then at that point, almost forget about it, because there's nothing you can do to influence it, and it's the decision's made. And if you win, you win. You don't, you don't. Whereas if you just go, I'm just going to pick horse number 6, bet on that, then you've put and then you're kind of like, I hope it's going to win. I need that money to buy my wife a present, or husband a birthday present. And you're kind of concerned, but don't concern then, do the concern before. Now I'm repeating myself like a million times here, because I'm trying to sort of give different examples of this, and it's hugely powerful. Sort of, if you think about it, the big decisions in your life, and my life, when you make, choosing the right mortgage perhaps, or choosing a car, you generally put a lot of thought into it, and there's less worry about it afterwards. Whereas a lot of other things, which are perhaps perceived as simple things, and I'm sure you have not put that much thought into it initially, but then afterwards you make a decision, then go, hope that was the right decision. But if you thought about it before, now it's not going to guarantee if you thought about it before you're going to get the right outcome, but put the worry before you make the decision, because that then might add some influence or some weight or some further sort of information to make a better decision. And that's the thing that hit me about this so much. It was like, well, that makes so much sense, and that sort of got me thinking. So I just wanted to sort of share that thought today, because it's not another exciting sort of blog. It's not a blog at all. Vlog episode, because I'm still kind of working my way back in, but I wanted to sort of share that thought, because it had quite a remarkable effect on me, just that hearing that almost one line, and there were some explanations behind it, and it's an amazing book. It truly is an amazing book, and it's a big book, don't get me wrong, but it's well written, it's well explained, and I've never even heard of it up until a few weeks ago, when someone who I follow on Instagram and I have great respect for, Mimi Bouchard, sort of suggested a few books, and this was one of them, and it was like, whoa, this, I've never heard of it. I love personal development. Got the book, and it's quite a, I know I use the term a lot, game changer, but it's nice to hear sort of new perceptions and new concepts. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. So I hope you've had a good day. I've got a lot done, a lot of tidying, all that kind of boring crap done, and yeah, just come back from dinner and I'm stuffed, really stuffed. But yeah, I hope you've had a great day, and just bear in mind, I'll put the link for the book in the description, because it's quite an amazing, it's an amazing book of many kind of concepts, and that's just one. And it said that when you start to think about that, it can change how you then move forward with making decisions. Put all the thought and worry before you make the decision, and then you can kind of forget about it and it's done, and you haven't got, obviously practice makes perfect, but you haven't got to then worry further about what's going on. Is it going to be the right decision? Because once you made a decision, you can't change it. So I hope you had a great day. That's it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Please remember to subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know exactly when I release a new video, and like, comment. I'd really appreciate any thoughts that you have on this, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.